I'll keep this talk pretty practical. I'm going to walk through how AI and augmented reality are actually being used in real-world environments today, especially in defense and medicine. The main idea I want to focus on is the shift from AR helping us analyze to actually helping us execute in real-world environments, not just theory. So in high-risk environments like the US Army, whether it's in the battlefield or an emergency room, the biggest issue isn't that people don't know what to do. It's that under pressure, execution breaks down. Think about a real scenario. You're a medic in the field or a frontline Army soldier in a high-stakes environment. You might know exactly what to do in theory. You train for it. But in the moment, things are happening fast. Information is incomplete, and you're under pressure. That's where mistakes happen, not because people aren't capable, but because the environment is difficult. You've got time pressure, cognitive overload, complex procedures, and small mistakes have big consequences. So the real problem isn't knowledge, it's execution. So one area we focused extensively on is defense. We work with the US Air Force, Army, Navy, and even the US Space Force, which was recently created. Our systems have actually been deployed and validated with the Department of Defense, not just some slide deck. And what that forces you to do is build things that actually work in real environments, not just demos. Build something that works in the hardest possible environment where life and death actually matters. So this is an example of how it's used in the field. In defense, you're dealing with mission workflows, complex systems, and coordination under pressure. What AR does is put the right information directly in front of you, so you're not looking down at screens or flipping through a 100-page manual. The drone integration is one of the key factors that we did, which enabled our frontline users to not have to look down while viewing the drone feed. It let them be hands-free, which made them much faster and more efficient. So what you're seeing is a gap between decision and action shrinking, and that's really the goal for real-world AR. And we have a short video here for demonstrating the drone use.
Augmented and mixed reality wearable technology powered by AI is being paired with unmanned aerial drones to build a smarter future for first responders in emergencies. With quick deployment times and thermal imaging, drones are used to scan for victims in disaster zones while simultaneously assessing damaged infrastructure. Beyond emergency situations, field service technician teams are adopting drones for routine inspections and preventive maintenance, and by government defense forces for strategic purposes. Additionally, using Third Eye's Real Eye platform, drones can be trained to recognize specific types of ships and boats and perform automated actions.
So for the last decade, we've invested heavily in AI for analytics. Dashboards, predictions, insights. But the last step, actually doing the task properly, is still on the human. And that's really the core factor. And that's where most failures still happen. And there's this big gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. So this becomes really interesting in classified scenarios. At Third Eye, we developed the first US Air Force HXR headset to be used in classified settings where cameras, internet are not allowed, which rules out pretty much every headset on the market. For reference, there are 13,000 SCIFs in the United States, which stand for Sensitive Compartmentalized Information Facilities. These are on every US military base in the US. And only headsets without wireless technology and cameras can be used for security reasons. Because in these environments, most of the current AR technology isn't even allowed. For our HXR solution, which we patented, and it enhances situational awareness and establishes supply chain trustworthiness. So all the components in the headset also have to be from NATO countries too. So there's a lot of requirements to be utilized in these type of like high-end US Air Force environments. So what this did was fill a void in the defense industry for XR, for HMI, in the presentation of secure information for SCIFs. And this is a really massive market because it's really niche, and there's over 13,000 SCIFs in the country. So in the SCIF environment, you can't have cameras, wireless, or recording devices. So basically, every commercial AR system is disqualified. All the components, like I said, have to be sourced from NATO or allied supply chains. So this really increases the cost, but the reason is for security reasons. A system designed from the ground up to work within these technology constraints. So now you can actually use AR in these high pressure environments where it was previously impossible. So this really rules out the majority of AR headsets, and we had to design this from the ground up for this specific US Air Force use case. And we have another short video here.
Until now, extended reality has been impossible inside SCIF environments. HXR is the first extended reality system designed specifically for secure environments. Users can visualize and interact with data in real time, directly within their environment. Camera-free magnetic tracking enables precise positioning, even in complete darkness. HXR transforms how classified data is viewed, shared, and understood, without introducing new risk.
So that video just briefly shows some of the features of HXR, and this is really the only headset that can be used in an Air Force SCIF environment right now. And we had to design this from the ground up through a custom project with them. But it kind of illustrates like the really high-end requirements that some of these projects have.
Until now, extended reality.
So there are over 100 AR VR headsets in the market, but almost none of them can be used in defense environments for the Army, Navy, for the security reasons that I just explained. So this really isn't a hardware problem. It's a system design and security problem. Think of the AR headset market like the car market. You have different cars for different use cases. You wouldn't use a Ferrari for a task you would use a pickup truck for, and vice versa. In the consumer market, there may be a few winners that capture market share. But in the highly specialized enterprise and military headset sectors, the use cases are so different that there will always be a lot of different headsets designed because the sensors are so specialized. Like for defense and medical use, we have a thermal sensor. Most consumer glasses won't do this. And that's the reason why there are still so many headsets in the market, because there's so much specialization needed. And stepping back, the glasses themselves aren't the main thing. They're just the interface. The real value is what you deliver through them, using the capabilities of the unique sensors on the glasses. And that's where our Real Life platform comes in. What we focus on is a software that helps people execute tasks, not just visualize data. And it's a holistic approach that integrates device security, holograms, training, procedures, and other software that the end user needs, as you can see in this table. So a good example is for first responders. This is an actual picture from the National Health Service in England, which is their main health sector, utilizing our platform. They're operating in chaotic environments. They don't have time to stop and check instructions. So the system guides them in real time while they're working. For example, imagine a less experienced surgeon doing a complex procedure. They trained for it, but they may not have done it many times. With AR, they can see overlays and get step-by-step guidance. So this is really the core idea, what we call procedural AR. Instead of just showing information, which is really basic AR, or giving recommendations, the system walks you through what to do and verifies it as you do it. Let me make this really concrete. Traditionally, you have a manual or training list or a checklist, and a human is responsible for remembering and executing correctly. With procedural AI, that flips. The system guides each step, checks that it's done correctly, and adjusts in real time. So instead of relying on memory, you're relying on a system that helps you execute. That's the shift from analytics to actual execution, and that's where AR is really beneficial in the real world. So in medicine, especially for first responders, where we have a lot of experience, this becomes extremely powerful. You're dealing with time pressure, high stakes, and variation in experience. So guiding procedures in real time can reduce errors, standardize care, and improve outcomes. And we have a short video here that shows how it was used during COVID for first responders.
We've heard a lot about COVID-19 healthcare professionals and their need for goggles. Then there's something called the X2MR glasses. There's something else altogether. They could be a godsend for first responders treating patients. Live at the Marcus Hook Fire Company is Action News reporter Dan Cuellar. Dan, these glasses could be a game changer.
They could very well be, Jim. For the first time, a Princeton company, Third Eye Gen, is offering military-grade technology to first responders that they hope will save lives during this pandemic. They are called the X2MR glasses.
What these glasses are essentially is a phone on your face.
The glasses developed by Third Eye Gen have a thermal sensor, which allows a paramedic to take a patient's temperature without ever touching them. And they send real-time audio and video back to the hospital.
And a doctor located 100 miles away could see exactly what the medic sees live from the camera point of view at the glasses. So the medic is hands-free. They can still be helping out the patient.
The glasses can show multiple screens with face recognition technology that can link to a patient's medical history within seconds.
This is something we feel can help save some people's lives and also improve efficiency and things like that.
This is about protecting the men and women who are on the very front line.
Under a pilot program spearheaded by former Congressman and Fire Chief Kurt Weldon, Marcus Hook and Trainers Fire Departments, as well as Upper Merion, will be the first in the country to have access to the glasses.
What you're doing is you're giving a new level of protection for that person on the front line.
Awesome, very awesome. We can't be more happier to be part of this new step of technology.
8 pairs of the $1,800 glasses are being paid for by Energy Transfer and Sunoco Pipeline.
Yeah, I sure hope this does help our first responders stay safe, use the latest in technology to avoid unnecessary contact when they don't have to, and still be able to help us and the general citizens.
Now, Kurt Weldon, who has always been a firefighter at heart, says his goal is to have the government and corporate sponsors provide one of these sets of glasses for every fire and rescue unit across the country.
We've heard a lot about
one of our uses
COVID-19
during
healthcare professionals.
COVID crisis, and we found almost 40% savings for first responders, which really helped them in the real world. So healthcare is one of our biggest sectors as well. And one of the biggest challenges in healthcare is that doctors need information, but they also need to stay focused and be hands-free. So AR solves this by putting the information directly in their field of view. And over time, this becomes even more impactful in complex procedures like surgery, where precision matters a lot. And we have a lot of different use cases in healthcare, not just surgery, but even for Alzheimer's, vision impaired, remote telehealth, and for first responders. And we're seeing tremendous benefits there. So across everything, what we're building is a platform that combines AI, AR, and real-world execution across different industries, but the same core problem. As you can see from this picture architecture, the key is having the experience seamless across all devices. Because in the real world, they're not just using the glasses or the phone or tablet, they're using the platform across multiple types of devices. So cross-compatibility is really key to having a successful real-world deployment, and that's really what we put a lot of focus on in terms of the architecture. So to sum up, we work with partners across defense and healthcare primarily, and these real-world deployments are what shape the product. The key is making sure this isn't a theoretical product, but something real-world people can actually use. And that's the only way for AR to become pervasive, is it has to be deployed in the real world and get real-world feedback. These are some of the different applications from field service and other use cases, but the shared common theme is reducing human error in high-stakes environments, and that will be what makes people pay for this and see the usability. So quick note on our team, we're a mix of real-world engineers, Army personnel, and operators who work directly in these environments. So we don't design from a theoretical perspective, we design from a real-world constraint perspective from the US Army, Navy, Air Force. And the key is getting this real-world feedback. Looking forward, this continues to expand into different areas. We're even expanding, like I said, into the Space Force, and more extensively into medicine and space infrastructure, anywhere execution matters. So to wrap it up, the next evolution of AI and AR isn't just better insights, it's helping humans execute in real time. And what we're seeing in the most extensive use cases for the Army and military is that AR has real world benefits if it helps them save time and be more efficient in the field. So with that, thanks for your time and happy to take any questions.
Hi, I was wondering, have you ventured into areas where you said like high stakes environments and so I'm from the Virgin Islands, hurricanes, and natural disaster, like places with weather conditions that have to respond to that. Have you guys been doing any work in kind of that area?
So that's something we work with first responders for drone integration, where they can use the glasses to view the drone feed, and the drones can go to these disaster hit areas, and they're more efficient by connecting the drone feed to the glasses. So we've done some work there, but we definitely want to keep expanding in that field. But we do a lot of work with first responders for how to make them safer and more efficient.
And when you are looking into going into those areas, like what are, like, how do you, I guess, pick who you're working with and kind of the expertise? Because part of your product is having people who do have that expertise, because that's how you make it a better product. So like, what's your process for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we have on our team, like really experienced people who have the connections in the first responder space. So they help us like get contracts and different pilot programs going. But we definitely try to do a lot of outreach too. Like when a disaster happens, we try to reach the local first responder department and say, hey, we could even offer this for free. You don't need to pay anything. We just want to see how we can help you operate faster and be more efficient. So we do a combination.
So it would be that contact that you put on the board, or like what's the process?
So you can definitely reach out directly, and we'll definitely be in touch. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any more questions? We can take 2 more questions.
Hi, thanks. Quite an interesting product. So I saw that there are 3 different products, I'm guessing, in this space that you guys are selling. So just want to understand the technology behind the first responder glasses. Are you using like waveguides? Are you using like an XR display? How does it work?
Yeah, so for our main X2 product, we use a waveguide display. It has about like a 50-degree field of view. And we also have a built-in thermal sensor because that's some feedback we got. So we're one of the only glasses with a thermal sensor built in, so you can actually get a heat map of what we're looking at. And then for our military glasses, they're much more specialized. So they're really only used for those environments. You can't really use them for generic environments. But those are much more expensive as well. So.
And what about control? How do you control these glasses?
So we have gestures. We have a gesture system built in, and we also have voice commands.
Okay. What kind of gesture system? Is it like EMGs or is it like a ring?
Yeah, it's a Paul Hemis magnetic tracking system.
Okay.
So it has like different trackers built in.